Hey guys, welcome back to the new shop. So I finally have some power hooked up to our new KBC Tools milling machine behind me there. So I want to go ahead and show it to you running, see what it sounds like. And after that, I have not trammed it yet, so we need to get the head trimmed. I've got a new Kurt vise on it. I've got a couple of new tools in for the machine I haven't shared with you yet, but I've been trying to gather up some basic tooling that we need to be able to run the lathe and the milling machine. You know, we got the lathe behind me. I've been gathering up some tools from the other shop, bringing some stuff down here. I've made a couple purchases on some new tooling for the machine, so I'll show you what we got going on for that. But let's jump right in here and go over the machine and listen to this thing run, okay? So to start off, I will tell you that whenever we first powered it up, the head seemed a little noisy to me. And after we finished getting everything hooked up, it dawned on me that the belt probably needs some belt dressing. So I took some of my belt dressing and sprayed it down. I'm gonna show you that right now. You're gonna hear it run for the first time, and then our belt dressing and what it sounds like after that. Okay, so that was our first startup, and the belt dressing did the trick on there. We got the belt conditioned the way it should, and it runs nice and smooth now. Just sounds great. Put it in reverse gear, or I'm sorry, back gear. There's low. So we do have the new collet chuck. This is the TMX 40 taper. It is an ER40 collet system for this right there. So we've got a range of collets to go in this, all of your basic sizes that we will need for this. I also bought a new clamp set right here, the Tico brand hold down set. I went ahead and decided to go ahead and add me a couple of bolts to the casting right here and just hang the clamps right there. So I think that's going to work out pretty good. I will say that this right here for the DRO, this was installed at KBC Tools, but I actually don't like the placement of this because the way this cord sticks out. I am gonna move this to down here and get this so that it's down here and kind of fastened up against the back of the machine. This right here is only temporary because they did not have the proper metal cover for the 4 receptacles there. So this is just a cover temporary that we're gonna replace. I have the power coming out, and this is like on a pigtail so that I can wrap it around here and plug it into the wall over there. I know people are gonna give me negative comments about that, but this is how I decided to hook it up, and that's how it's gonna run. So I already showed you before we had plugged in, but here's the power feed. This is the Align power feed. Seems to be a good running unit. So variable speed, you got the rapid button right there. And that's about all there is to it. I will say that I would like to, in the future, let's put some add-ons on this machine. I'd like to see about adding one of these for the Y-axis and the Z-axis right there. So hopefully we'll get these hooked in eventually. I'd like to at least start with one for the knee. That's probably the most important right there, is that we get that one hooked in. Okay, so I've already checked all of the power feeds. It's working just like you should. All right, bring that down and engage it. So power feed works just like any other milling machine. Kick it out that way. This is your 3 different speeds there for your power feed. And of course you can put this in neutral, run this down some, engage it, and you can operate it with the hand wheel, just like this. So we'll go ahead and get the table cleaned off. I've got it coated down with some SP350. Here's our new vise right here. This is the Curt DX6 crossover vise. So I didn't realize until I had purchased this that I didn't realize that Curt did away, they phased out their D688 and in favor for the DX6. But according to their videos and all their information on the Curt website, is that this is supposed to be a superior vise to the older model D688. Whether it is, I don't know, but you know, I know it's a high quality vise made here in USA, so this is what we're going to be running right here. I do know that they've got the stationary jaw. This is all solid one-piece cast with the bed there to help eliminate deflection there with that rear jaw being bolted on. So that was a change that they made. They've got some hold downs there that you can use in the bed. This is a little different the way they did this. This is not a solid casting through here. Now the spindle is actually made to float and self-center inside the nut there that pulls the moving jaw forward. So I'm going to enjoy having it. It's just a different vise than what I'm used to, so it's just going to take a little of getting used to the new vise there. So we've got this, as I mentioned, we got the collet chuck. I'll show you a couple of the other tools I've been kind of building up here and collecting for the machines. We've got a cheap set of end mill holders right here that have all your standard sizes. I've got a drill chuck I brought down. This is a 40 taper holder. This is leftover from my old shop days right there, and 3/4 pilot. I have got a new Walter face mill that we're going to be mounting onto this holder right there. We've got the carbide inserts for it. I've also got a few sizes of Walter solid carbide end mills right there too. So this is the only end mills I got in the shop right now. So we're going to be using those in the face mill as I start building out some more tooling. All right, next drawer up, we've got some drill bit sets in here. The Cleline drill bits. All right, I've got some, let's see, some reduced shank drills there. These are some taps that we're going to be able to use. So if we need to tap some holes, I got some counter bores there and some more drill sets right there. Reduced shank drills, 1/2 to 1 inch. This will be for the entire shop, you know, whenever we need one of these. This is a nice number drill set that I put together. This is an index that I found a while back when I was antiquing. Cleaned it up, made a new handle for it, and bought a new set of Cleline drill bits for it and got those in there. I just love that holder right there. That thing is so cool. Real nice. You can just pick it up, take it wherever you need in the shop. It's very handy. So let's go ahead. I'm going to start doing some tramming on the mill now. So we've got a Starrett number 196 back plunge indicator set up here. This is one of my favorite little tramming indicator sets right here. So I put together this kit right here. This is what the rest of the kit looks like. I added, this is a snug that belonged to my grandfather. It's got his initials on it, and it takes a 3/8 rod down to this 1/4 inch rod. So I just made this stem. So this is going to be a dedicated setup that's going to stay in this kit right here and stay in the toolbox for our tramming needs and anytime we're going to be using the back plunge there. All right, so we've got this on approximately a 5-inch radius right there, so we're sweeping about 10 inches total. I've already got the head is loose. It's definitely heavy over on this side right here. So let's go ahead and start moving this guy. Hopefully. Maybe I've got it too tight. I think I might have the bolt still a little too tight there. Actually, I think I went too far, didn't I? -4. Yep, we went too far. Need to go back the other way. All right, I got to loosen up these bolts. I've got them too tight. All right, let's try this again. Let's see what we can do. That is +1. Ooh, that one's -1, so let's see if we can bump it. That was about a half, so I want to go ahead and check it. Let's just zero this one out right here. That's looking pretty darn good. Right where it's at. I think we hit it. I'm going to move it to the center of the table because I want to check the nod. This does not have an adjustment for the nod, so I'm anxious to see if they've got it square. So I'm just going to check this again, but it looks like we have got this nice and trammed right now. So I need to start snugging these bolts up and making sure we're going to maintain our squareness right here. Yeah, that's looking nice. So now we're checking what would normally be a nod on a lot of the machines. So this one does not have that. You can only swing it to the left or the right, no nod. So it's bolted up straight right here. I'd be real curious to know if the factory does a hand scrape on this fit right here, if it's just machined and, you know, maybe even ground, I don't know. But I did one initial check and it looks good. It looks like it's spot on. So I'll show you. We've got the back there set to 0. On the same swing, we're at 10 inches across, and that's lined up on 0 there too, so they've done a good job of making sure that the mill head is square with the turret. Yep, we are good to go with that. All right, let's go ahead and get our Kurt vise trammed in. We're using that same back plunge indicator. Get it zeroed out on one side. I am using a dead blow hammer here to bump the vise. I like to bump it while it's moving. Bring that back around so it's a little easier to see. So it's right around -1. I think we got her right there where it's at, yeah. Dead nuts right there. Let me snug up the nuts. Got our flange nuts tight. Giving it one more check. That looks so good. Not even doesn't even look like it's moved a tenth. So we've got a good trammed vise now.
So now that we got the mill all trammed in, how about we make some chips on it? I don't have anything like heavy duty to do with the mill yet, but we do have a couple pieces here that we can make some chips. So let me show you what I got. First of all, I've got this piece of flat bar that I've used for years around here. I brought it down here to use as my mag base for my Noga for my camera. So it's just a heavy piece of steel. It's a piece of 1.5 by 6 flat bar. And I think we'll just make a couple cuts on the side of this. This is the new Walter face mill. So we've got it loaded up in the holder, and I think we'll try this out first and go ahead and cut the two sides and just see how for one, how the mill works, and then how this new Walter face mill works. I've also got this piece right here. This is just going to be a simple T-nut that I need to machine for this compound. I believe this is off of a Southbend lathe. This was brought to me by someone local and asked me if I would mill this to fit the compound for them. They bought a little tool post to go on there. So we're going to mill that as well. I've got the Walter 1/2-inch carbide end mill that we will use to get this thing milled in there. So we'll set this up and see about making some chips on the new KBC mill now. All right, let's start our first cut. I will say I need to add some extra lighting over here on the machine. We may have to see about picking up a light, mounting over here so I can flood this little area with some more warm light so that it's easier to see on videos. So we're constantly going to be adding, improving, and making adjustments as we need as we continue to fill out the shop. So let's go ahead and get started. We got it set about 500 surface feet per minute, and I'll probably adjust the power feed as we go to kind of, you know, see how the chip load is. All right, exciting. First cut here. Hopefully everything's going to go okay. All right, looking pretty good. By the way, we're only, that's 62,000 steep. That's looking nice. I'm going to kick up the feed here. Definitely making some chips. Cutter sounds good. Nice and smooth. The machine sounds good. Very nice. Already making a mess here. All right, there you go. Nice finish on that, super smooth. Everything sounded just very, very smooth with the machine and the cut. All right, so there's another look at our very first cut and our very first chips that we have made in the new shop. Excited to see this. It's time to start getting some chips made in here and start making a mess. I am going to flip this over and let's make one more cut here on the other side. Do that and you know, a little test cut for our face mill there, and then we'll move on to get our little T-nut machine for that compound. Everything's going great. This is our second cut right there on our little test block of steel. So quite literally the very first piece of metal that we have machined in the new shop right here. I know it's nothing, it's not much at all, but it's just a little test piece, but it means something to me. We may just end up keeping this piece just right here, just like it is, to represent the very first piece of material that we cut in the new shop. So a lot of firsts going on today. Our first chips in the shop, our first chips on the KBC mill, first chips made in the Kurt Weiss and the Walter face mill. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. Very cool. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into this simple little T-nut there. We'll get our collet chuck set back up in the mill, and we'll get this guy milled out, and that'll be our first little test cuts here in the new shop and on the new mill. So this is a look at the collet that I chose for the mill. This is an ER40 style of collet. And one of the things that I like about these is that they actually can collapse a little bit more than just the designated size on there. So you have a little extra range. I got the, let's see if I can get it in there right. You have the snap ring in there. There you go. It holds it in place. This is a really nice system right here. This is the TMX brand. 1/2 inch solid carbide end mill. All right, I got to put my earplugs in because that's rattling. Definitely was not as elegant as I was hoping that it would be. We may have a combination of some rigidity issues happening here and wrong speeds and feeds, but I was trying to run it at 300 surface feet. We're going to go ahead and make our finish cut here, back the other way. All right, that one side's cut, but I don't like how noisy it is. So I lowered the block a little bit further down into the vise, hopefully kind of prevent some of that deflection, maybe some of that chatter that we were hearing. So we'll go ahead and finish out this other side. All right, we just got to mill the 2 steps in there, but see, I've got all my dimensions written down there and right on it, 1.280 on our width. So I've got to get used to that carbide. So they recommend running this, they told me 300 surface speed, which is about what I had it set at, but I haven't used a lot of carbide in my career. I have whenever I needed, but not generally as an everyday end mill. And that's one of the things that I always notice with that is sort of, rigidity issues, a lot of the chatter sounds in the carbide end mill. So I've got to get used to this and learn the machine and learn the tools to find out how to make these things work efficiently and find out if we can reduce some of that chattery, loud noise whenever it's milling. I think the machine is doing fine, but we still got a lot to do to prove it out and make sure that we got a good solid machine and learn our cutters there as well, our carbide. But anyway, a couple more little more cuts to make on this T-nut, and we'll have that guy ready and making out our first actual little workpiece in the new shop. All right, we're gonna make a finish cut there. There, and we're gonna offset Y. So we can clean it up. Should be good right about here. This should be our finished pass on this side. $865, that's what we were looking for right there. I think we got a good part. All right, let's see if it fits. I still got to file it. Nice precision fit right there. I tried to give it between like 5 and 10 thousandths clearance on all the fits there. So that worked out nice. How cool is that? Our first machined part in the new shop. Well, I'm excited to be able to share the first chips with you being made in the shop and on the new KBC mill. I know it wasn't a lot. It was kind of a minor job there, and we didn't make a lot of heavy chips, but we got more of that that's going to be coming down the pipeline. I'm just happy to finally see some chips being made. You know, we've been working on the new shop here for quite a while now, several months, getting the equipment in here. We're still getting it tooled up. We have a lot of things that we need around here to work more efficiently, and it's going to take a lot of time to get to that. But I think we've made a great step today in getting the mill set up and run and making our first little tiny part on it, which was fun. I think my initial reactions of the mill is that it seems to be a good solid machine. It seems to be smooth, and I'm going to enjoy operating that and having that as our manual machine here in the new shop. So I've got to get cleaned up now. I've been sweeping up. There's one thing that I realize I need to get, and that is I want to go buy me a shop vac just for, you know, cleaning up chips, things like that, just like I have in another shop. I went to go grab and I realized I don't have a shop vac yet. I need to get another one. So I'm going to work on that. But still a lot of things to do around here. I'm still trying to plan out a shop air system, and that's heavily on my mind. So I'm hoping that's going to be coming sooner than later. And, you know, I'll be sharing that with you too once we get that system figured out and when we know when we're going to get that installed. So that's it for this video. I hope you had fun with me. I enjoyed sharing this little adventure with you, and we have plenty more to share. So hopefully we're going to see you very soon on the next video.